Hi everyone, today we're painting a really vibrant and colourful waterfall landscape. I've added a little bit of Prussian blue to white and I'm painting the top left hand corner with that. Then I've added some Phthalo green to the mix and I'm blending those two colours together. This will give me sort of a misty effect in the distance. Next I've added Phthalo green and Ochre's green and I'm going to paint the right hand side of the canvas now because this is where the rocks and the waterfall will be. I've also added a tiny bit of burnt sienna to the very front part of the rocks just to warm it up a little. The next step is to block out the water, and for this I've just added some more Phthalo green and a little Payne's grey to the white, so we've got a darker version of the misty area in the background. Then I've added some Ochre's green and a little Phthalo green again for the part closest to the foreground. For the trees in the background, I'm keeping these very faint, so I've added a lot of white to the paint. And I'm not really putting in much detail, I'm just doing a very basic outline of the trees, keeping it very delicate and slowly making it a little stronger as it gets closer to us. You can use whatever colours you like, just keep the colours quite faint. Now I'm making a really dark colour with Prussian blue and a little burnt sienna, and I'm using a chisel blender to paint in where the darker areas and the crevices and angles of all the rocks are going to be. You could also use any flat brush for this. Using the flat edge of the brush makes it really easy to get those angles and different edges of the rock face. I also want to make my rocks quite colourful because where the water comes over the top of them it can sometimes look really nice and vibrant. So I'm starting that process by adding a little bit of burnt sienna and I'll slowly build up the colours as we go. Don't worry too much about this area because we will be covering a lot of it with our waterfalls later. I'm going to add a few waterfalls in the distance now, and I'm using the same blue colour I used for the water first to map out where the waterfalls are going to be. Then I'm coming in on the top with white to get those lovely highlights. I'm just using a small round brush, either a 0 or a 1 round will do. Now we can come in and start really adding some vibrant colours to our rock face. I'm using burnt sienna, some yellow ochre, and I've even added a little bit of cadmium orange at the front. We can also start adding some colour to our water. Again, I've got my blender brush, but you could also use a flat brush for this, and just slowly build it up, add the colours here and there, add some reflections. Now we can add our waterfalls to the front parts of the rocks. Again, I'm coming in with my bluey grey colour and I'll come over the top with white. When you're painting the waterfalls coming down, you can use the way the water falls to mark out all the different ledges and angles of the rocks too. So you can let it pool in certain areas and then let it cascade downwards, so you can almost show the different angles in the rocks when you're painting the water. And when you get to the bottom, keep your brush strokes nice and horizontal where the waterfall hits the water at the bottom. Now we can block out our path. I've just used Prussian blue with a little phthalo green for this. And I'm painting over the top with some yellow ochre, some burnt sienna and a little white to mark out the planks of wood as it goes across. I'm darkening up the water on the left hand side because this side will be in shadow, and I'm also going to put some shrubs and foliage on the left too, so I'm not too worried about the distant part because this will be covered. I have a liner brush. I'm using Prussian blue and a little phthalo green. We'll put in a few branches and then we'll add a little bit of colour with either burnt sienna, yellow ochre, whatever paint you have and you think looks good. We can add a few colours and highlights to the water as well. I still have my zero round, but you could use a flat brush if you prefer. I've even added some cadmium orange and some yellow ochre in the foreground to get the reflections of the rocks on the water. And here are some other videos I hope you like to watch next. See you next time.